Sudevaya, Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. A reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 19, Text 36. Anyatha te avyaktagateh darshanam maha katham neinam nitaram Mriyamananam Samsidasya Baliyasaha Anyathate Vyakta Gate Darshanam na katham nrinam Nitaram Mriyamananam Sansidasya Vaniyasaha Anyathate Vyakta Gate Darshanam na katham nrinam Nitaram Mriyamananam Samsidasya Vaniyasaha Please chant. Anyathate Yaktagate Darshanam Nakatam Rinam Itaram Priyamanam Samsidhasya Vaniyasaha Anyathate Vyaktagate Darshanam Nakatam Rinam Darshanam Priyamanam Samsidhasya Vaniyasaha Anyatha otherwise. Te your Amyaktagate of one whose movements are invisible. Darshanam meeting. Naha for us. Katham how. Nrinam of the people. Nitaram specific others. Mriyamananam of those who are about to die. Samsidhasya of one who is all perfect. Vaniyasaha voluntary appearance. Translation. Otherwise, without being inspired by Lord Krishna, how is it that you have voluntarily appeared here, though you are moving incognito to the common man and are not visible to us who are on the verge of death? The great sage Shukadeva Goswami was certainly inspired by Lord Krishna to appear voluntarily before Maharaj Parikshit, the great devotee of the Lord, just to give him the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam. One can achieve the nucleus of devotional service of the Lord by the mercy of the spiritual master and the personality of Godhead. The spiritual master is manifested representative of the Lord to help one achieve ultimate success. One who is not authorized by the Lord cannot be a spiritual master. Srila Shukadeva Goswami is an authorized spiritual master, and thus he was inspired by the Lord to appear before Maharaj Parikshit and instruct him in the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam. One can achieve the ultimate success of going back to God if he is favored by the Lord's sending his true representative. As soon as a true representative of the Lord is met by a devotee of the Lord, the devotee is assured a guarantee for going back to Godhead just after leaving the present body. This, however, depends on the sincerity of the devotee himself. The Lord is seated in the heart of all living beings, and thus he knows very well the movements of all individual persons. As soon as the Lord finds that particular soul is very eager to go back to Godhead, the Lord at once sends his bona fide representative. The sincere devotee is thus assured by the Lord of going back to God. The conclusion is that to get the assistance and help of a bona fide spiritual master means to receive the direct help of the Lord Himself. Shri Chaitanya Manavishtan Stapitam Vinamutale Swami Patalamadhyam Paragvista Parantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shivatapalakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamshta Shri Upasayajatam Savyavaratam Tam Sajuvam Samvaitam Savadutam Vajjavasaitam Krishna Chaitanya Shri Radha Krishna Radham Sahagama Ravana Sahaganalita Shri Vishakanika Shah Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinabanga Jalakande Kopesha Gopakanta Radha Kanta Stitu Taptakan Chanagorandi Adi Vindhaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Radha Kaitri Vanchakalpatarishcha Dasi Vacha Haritam Tadinyo Vaishnavidya Maho Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Devara Shri Vasani Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Anyarthate Yadhagate Darshanam Lakapamina Nivaram Niyamaharam Something that's Yadvadyasaha. Otherwise, without being inspired by Lord Krishna, how is it that you can voluntarily appear here, though you are moving incognito to the common man and are not visible to us who are on the verge of death? So this very last verse from last chapter of First Canto. This is how in First Canto it's described that King Parikshit met Shukadeva Goswami. And before that, King Parikshit already agreed to retire from his duties because he was cursed to die in 1 week. And he took shelter of great sages, great devotees, Ganga, and just when he actually came there, very soon, Shukadeva Goswami appears, and he attracts attention of everyone. Everyone is showing respect to Shukadeva, considering him the highest authority. And that highest authority is going to be the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam to Maharaj Parikshit. Srila Prabhupada in the report talks about eagerness. Yeah. As soon as the true representative of the Lord is met by the devotee of the Lord, the devotee is assured the guarantee for going back to Godhead. This, however, depends on the sincerity of the devotee himself. So, unless somebody is sincere, he might just miss the point of what Krishna consciousness is. So Maharaj Parikshit was very sincere. And there are many reasons how people become sincere. Uh, Usually, if when people are too much comfortable in this world, Krishna also in Bhagavad Gita explains that there are people who, to whom we should not explain the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. People who are not devotees, people who are enemies, uh, people who Amakta Kadachana, Krishna. And people who are not austere, practically, if you turn this verse from Bhagavad Gita around. So Krishna is obviously talking about to whom you should not speak. So what kind of people are that? What kind of people are qualified? It means people should be austere, disciplined. They should be have devotional attitude. Uh, Shushrusha is also, and of course, obviously, it is envious. Shushrusha, it's very Shushrusha, which means somebody who is not ready to serve. Uh, just like in the Gita, Krishna explains, people who want to know transcendental knowledge, they should approach, they should inquire, and they should also seva, that they should be ready to do service. Otherwise, self-satisfied, self-satisfied people are comfortable with their material existence. How can they be sincere about spiritual matters? That's the big problem. Being satisfied with something which cannot give you satisfaction. It's contradictory. That's how all material existence continues. So to qualify for entering spiritual life, one should be austere. One should have attitude of service, and one should not be envious. Just like in the Gita, Krishna also explains that there are four people qualified to approach him. Yeah, four people. Four people. It's people who are in trouble, in some kind of difficulties. Artaha, without H. Artaha means people who are in difficulties. And then we have Arta Arti with two H's in both words. He who desires material gain. Jigyasu, who is inquisitive. So there should be some kind of interest. And we can see all these people, they have some interest. It's either some need, just like people in trouble, they have a need to get out of trouble. And then people who are in want of money, they want to get money or material, improve their material status. So they are in need, and there's some interest in inquisitive, and there's some genuine desire to serve or to understand God. That's kind of yeah. So these four people, these four people who qualify. And on the other hand, there are people who don't qualify. Dushritina, miscreants. And what kind of dushkritinas? It's muda, means foolish or stupid. Materialistic people ready to work hard just for material happiness in this and next life. Nara Adama, lowest of mankind. Mayarapa Italian. The lowest of mankind. It's very interesting that Prabhupada explains Nara means human, about Narada, lowest of mankind. So what does it mean? Nara means human being and Adama means the lowest. Out of 8,400,000 different species of living beings, there are 400,000 human species. Out of these, there are numerous lower forms of human life. They are mostly uncivilized. The civilized, so lowest of mankind means uncivilized human. Life. The civilized human beings are those who have regulated principles of social, political, and religious life. It means they are kind of disciplined and cultured. Those who are socially and politically developed, but who have no religious principles. That means society, politics without religion. You can see nowadays. Usually that's what's going on in society, at least on the main stage of society. Religious topics are practically banned, and the most important thing is how to negotiate peace, how to win the war, how to, it's simply fight. No religious ideas are being promoted. So this civilized the civilized form of human life is meant for man's reviving the lost consciousness of his eternal relation with the Supreme Truth, the personality of God and Sri Krishna, with soul power. Whoever loses this chance is qualified as Narada. So somebody, this is, I don't have time. Other things to do. They are Narada because they have developed human body. They have showed, I would say, somewhat civilized social and political life, but no religious idea, no interest. So it's very low class. It's Narada. So Prabhupada also in the purport, he says that Jaga and Madai, they are classical examples of that. Because Jaga and Madai, what was their names? Something like Jagannath and Madhavananda or something like that. So these are their nicknames, but they were so sinful. So they came from proper ancestry and probably cultured people, but they turned out to be like super simple and uh, nasty people, dangerous, even for, yeah, dangerous for everyone else around them. And then we have next type of dushkitis, or people who are not qualified to approach Krishna. It's Maya Pahritaliana. Those persons whose erudite knowledge has been nullified by the influence of illusory material energy. They are mostly very learned fellows, great philosophers, poets, literati, scientists, but the illusory energy misguides them, and therefore they disobey the Supreme Lord. Wow. There are a, there are a great number of Maya Pahitarianas at the present moment, even amongst the scholars of the Gita. In the Gita, in plain and simple language, it is stated that Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. There is none equal to or greater than him. Prabhupada continues. Krishna is wonderful. He is fountainhead of everything. Despite all these clear statements, the Maya Pahitagana derived the personality of the Supreme Lord, and consider him merely another human being. They do not know that the blessed form of human life is designed after the eternal and transcendental feature of the Supreme Lord. And of course, at the end, we have the last category of dushritis, and that category is called asuras, asurandava vashita. Yeah, taking shelter of their demoniac, atheistic, uh, yeah, taking shelter of demoniac, atheistic nature, prakriti. Prakriti, Bhava, those are the synonyms. So they are very, very against, very much against um, the concept of God. So to be sincere, uh, it's practically not possible for somebody who is not Krishna conscious. And of course, there are some levels of sincerity amongst people. People who are kind of dutiful in their work, whether it's in Vedic society or modern society. And at least some they show signs of civilized behavior. That kind of enables normal communication, and it enables these people to hear clearly what's being said. Otherwise, when people are too much disturbed with lower modes of nature, because they are living irregulated life, they are kind of stuck into really low modes of nature, like ignorance and passion. For them, it's very difficult. It can happen. Srila Prabhupada also explains Jagannath, they were very sinful and offensive, but they were delivered by Lord Chaitanya. But that deliverance also has very interesting, so in that situation of delivering Jagannath is also kind of very instructive. It was very hard to deliver Jaga and Madai while they were in their own modes. So something had to change drastically. So it's not just you meet some ruffian or some uh, rascal and you say a few nice words and he just starts crying and repenting his sins and he surrenders. I mean, I've never seen that. At least not recently. So something drastic had to be done. And actually, what happened that when Jaga and Madai uh, hurt the head of Nityananda Prabhu. So Lord Chaitanya decided to kill them. So this automatically put them in the category of need, because usually when people are in danger, they are in need, at least to save their own life. So that was they were put in the proper condition, and that's one of the purposes of suffering in this world. Unless conditioned souls are put in, let's say, trial, their heart becomes so hard. You can see that in the pastime of Damodar Lila, on this story about Nalakumara and Manipurila. While they were engaged in their sinful activities, even Narada Muni couldn't help. It's not that just by seeing Narada Muni, of course they got some benefit from it. Definitely seeing the devotee of Narada Muni's calendar is not an ordinary thing. But Narada Muni cursed them, and they were put in the three bodies. So through that kind of situation, through falling from the very exalted heavenly planet's standard of life, they have fallen to the earth into three bodies, which is quite austere. And their consciousness was, they could remember that. So you can just imagine how much repentance, how much repenting, they were just remember your stupid ideas, because of these stupid ideas, you end up in such a big trouble. You can't move anywhere. So they were, yeah, they automatically get qualified to seek for help, for shelter. And actually, that's what they did when they realized that they are going to just become trees. Then they repented, offered their obeisances to Narada Muni, and begged for forgiveness, which is proper. But Narada Muni didn't change, didn't say, okay, yeah, I'm very pleased with you, now you go back and have fun with your girlfriends, and just continue with your fight, and I'm going the other way. No, Narada Muni told them, yeah, you will have to take up the three bodies, but you are going to take birth in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj when Krishna performs his pastimes. So the Supreme Lord will personally deliver you. So that's how that's how yeah, it looks like sooner or later, if somebody wants to um, if somebody wants, that's another topic. Here, Srila Prabhupada says, as soon as the Lord finds that a particular soul is very eager to go back to Godhead, the Lord at once sends his bona fide release. So, why would one want to go back to God? I'm talking about people who are not Krishna conscious. Why would they want to go back to God?
They would, unless there is material sense verification, they won't be willing.
They won't be willing unless they get some sense gratification from that.
Yeah.
For example.
Because in this material world, everybody who is not Krishna conscious, they are looking for enjoying their senses. So they are looking for increasing the sense gratification.
Yeah. So that means arthati.
Arthi or material opulence. So if they can get something higher in terms of sense gratification, then makes sense to go. Just like I came from India to US.
Yeah, but why would someone want to go back to Godhead if he wants sense gratification? Actually, he does want to go back to Godhead. He just wants to come to America.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, that's right. Yeah. So they want.
As far as I
Yes.
understand. Actually, they want to come to America with the help of God, but they don't want to go back to God.
Yes. Yes.
So that's yeah. I think these people don't necessarily qualified to approach Krishna because they, you know, do it nominally.
Yeah.
But actually, their main goal is basically it's karmic path. Karmi means somebody who's trying to improve his material sense gratification, you know, by work, by religious practice. But actually, his goal is just um, his goals are quite materialistic. Just like that, what's his story of a mouse approaching a rishi, and I'm harassed by this cat. Can you make me a cat? Because I'm in trouble. So the rishi said, yeah, you can become a cat. So we can harass other mouses. But then when he became a cat, then he realized that there are dogs running after him. So he was thinking maybe I should become a dog. And then when when he became a dog, then he realized, especially in India, people are quite, yeah, sometimes it looks harsh. Like even small kids, they are so cruel to dogs. Kind of Prabhu, did you do also those things? Admit. Yeah. I was always thinking, why is this? These poor, dogs. Every time a dog comes, children, women, men, they just grab a stone and hit him in the head. I was thinking, why is this? Until once, I was in Vrindavan. I forgot. It was kind of dusk. Um, I don't remember if it was morning or evening, but it doesn't matter. It was like dusk, between day and night. And it was on the way to Gosha through those narrow streets. So when I came very close to practically to Goshala, because we were staying at Goshala, so I was like, so there was a pack of dogs, like stray dogs. I think there were at least 8 or 9. So they were obviously wanted to eat me. That's how I could understand. They were not like so much barking, but they were very focused and producing some different sounds. Yeah, dogs usually bark when they are afraid, but these were in to kill, and there I was alone. There was nobody around. I was not thinking about, maybe leaving body in town. Maybe I can go back to Godhead. I was very much afraid. I was thinking, what can be done? And then I couldn't see anyone. There was nobody on the street. I was alone, which is very unusual in Bindu. There are always people passing. So I was alone with a pack of nasty dogs, and who were ready to tear me apart. And then a man, in Vrindavan, people have high walls around houses. So apparently, as far as I could hear, there was a man behind the wall, and he could hear that I was kind of struggling, figuring out what to do. And these dogs were producing like very terrifying sounds. And it was not barking, it was like, now we are going to eat you up. So this man, he just said, what? Something like that. And the whole pack of dogs they just got curled their tails and they all put their heads to the ground and very peacefully and carefully left. That was it. And I was saved. So this man practically, he didn't even show up. So that's how I could understand uh, why these dogs are so, this man, he just said, what, it's not even syllable. How do we call that? Consonant.
Yeah. Consonant and vowel.
Yeah. So it's something between A and O. And that was enough for these dogs to just give up the whole idea. So, yeah. So, argumentum ad bacrum for people who are like very materialistic, very animalistic. There has to be some danger to change their kind of cruel hearts. And that's very nicely explained in Nalakumara and Managriva's story, because they were totally into sense gratification and partying, and until they got into trouble, they just couldn't take it. And there are many other examples. Dhritarashtra is another example because of his attachment to his sons, my sons, Asian kings. Looks innocent, but actually it was catastrophic. And actually it was unjust. And but he couldn't say no until he lost practically everything. That's argumentum ad bacrum. Practically his 100 sons were assassinated by Bhima. And it's interesting that after Dhritarashtra lost everything, he was feeling, of course, he was feeling repenting, repenting. And but because Yudhishthir was such a cultured kind of Aryan, first class cultured person, so it is described that Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, they were very nicely taken care of. And plus, when people would come to Yudhishthir for important matters, Yudhishthir would send them to Dhritarashtra. Maybe not always. So Dhritarashtra was feeling, after all, this is not so bad. Because Yudhishthir is respecting me. Of course, sometimes Bhishma, when not Bhishma, Bhima, and he would be alone with Dhritarashtra, he would boast, yeah, with my own hands, I killed all of 100 of your sons. So Dhritarashtra was disturbed, but Yudhishthir and pretty much all other Pandavas, they were very respectful to him. So he was thinking, it's not so bad. I lost these sons, but they were evil, nasty. But this Yudhishthir is treating me better than my sons. So it's not so bad. Until Vidura came. So then Vidura came. So he told him that he lives like a dog. So he's all kind of heavy statements. And actually, it was true that on the Tarashtra, practically he was just living in the house of people he wanted to kill. And they were taking such a nice care of him. And we should have told him, you know, you should be ashamed of yourself. You know, you have no dignity. So he eventually he decided, okay, I'm just gonna go to the West. But even that, it's not like uh, uh, definitely he executed the duty of a king according to Varnashama. And actually, that's how he could have benefited so much more by actually actively cooperating with Krishna, with the Pandavas, but because he was attached, he could never do that. But at least he did something.
Mm.
That's why it is said that there are two glorious deaths according to China. And actually, it comes from cultural about the Vedic tradition. Two glorious deaths. One is death of a kshatriya in a righteous battle, and the other one is death of a saintly person, because these people are considered to be heroes. Yudhavira and Dharmavira. So otherwise, what's the use of human? So Dhritarashtra didn't die on the battlefield, but at least he took Vanapasta, which is kind of saintly activity. Well, Gandhari, of course, entered the fire. And yeah. So this is, yeah, that's one explanation why there is suffering in this world. If there wouldn't be any suffering, uh, how would ironclad Ashmasara, Ashma means stone in Sanskrit, but it also means iron. And Ashmasara, this hard knot of selfish materialistic desires. How is it? Uh, how would that change? How would aggressors, perpetrators understand their mistake unless there's some kind of argument about it? That's how it is. So, ultimately, for transformation of consciousness. Sounds harsh, but once people go through it, they don't want that to anyone. Probably will have saying like that. I wouldn't desire this even to my worst enemy. They will have something like that in English. Yeah, in Europe, there are kind of proverbs like that. Or they say this thing I wouldn't like even. I don't want this even to my worst enemy. So that means softening of the heart, a little bit opening to understanding. Um, Higher quality of existence. And of course, becoming qualified to approach Krishna, which is the ultimate goal of life. So I would like to stop here. Are there any questions or comments?
Question, Prabhu.
There is someone.
Prabhu, during the class, you mentioned that uh, Krishna puts someone through difficulty so that they don't develop a hard heart?
Well,
Isn't it the opposite? When Krishna puts someone through difficulty, don't they develop a hard heart towards Krishna?
hard heart means Hridaya Granthi. That's described in the fifth canto. Fifth canto. Oh, just a moment. Okay. So this is fifth canto, fifth chapter, text 8. Pumsasriyamrituni bhavametam tayo mito hridagrantabahu ato griha kshetra sutattavipai janasya mohoya mahamabeti. This is the root cause of hard heart or hridaya granthi, means the heart which is kind of very much focused on materialistic things. Usually when we hear the term hard heart, we think somebody who is angry and very harsh to others. But this is level of krodha. Dhyayatam vishapum sam sangaskeshu prajayate sangat samjayate kama krodho sangat samjayate kama kamat krodho bija. Yeah. So as far as I could understand it in English and pretty much most languages in the world, we would say somebody is very harsh and he has hard heart. But actually the root cause of krodha is kama. So people think what's wrong with being lusty, with being selfishly interested only in one's own sense gratification. So Srimad Bhagavatam goes deeper and explains the attraction between male and female is the basic principle of material existence. On the basis of this misconception, which ties together the hearts of male and female, one becomes attracted to his body, to his home, property, children, relatives, and wealth. In this way, one increases life's illusions and thinks in terms of I and mine. So this illusion, I'm this, all these things belong to me. And then when these things are kind of threatened by inevitable time or other people who think in the same terms, then he becomes angry. And but we can understand materialism doesn't start with anger, it starts with kama. And actually, even before kama or selfish materialistic desires, there's contemplation of kind of imagining oneself as the enjoyer of his world. It's okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
anything else.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
I feel like most people pray to God to help them in difficult situations. They um, they have some sincere feelings when they're praying, but then afterwards, after they're not in difficult situation, they forget about God. So, like, does this category of person fall into this partial mentioned in the verse because they're not performing devotional service even after praying to God? I don't think.
So there are 4 people. So it means either somebody who is miserable, somebody who wants material enjoyment, typing, Jigyasu, who is inquisitive, and Jnani, one who is interested in knowledge. So out of all these categories, only some of them approach Krishna and surrender to him. In terms of they become actively and purposefully, they become devotees. But many of them, they do exactly what you just mentioned. They don't actually take the path of Sharanagati or surrender to Krishna. They just pray and then they go back. But we can see that even Dhritarashtra was praying to Krishna in his, at least in some situation. And but he didn't change. Duryodhana also tried to satisfy Krishna. She says if somebody offers leaf, a flower, with devotion. So there was an instance when Krishna came as a messenger, as a mediator for peace. So Duryodhana, he received Krishna very nicely, with great pomp, first-class preparations, everything. So there was obviously intention to please Krishna. Some kind of offering is there, nice words, nice reception. But Krishna didn't like his offering because Duryodhana was envious of Krishna's devotees. And Krishna told him that a person eats because he is hungry or out of love. So obviously, and Krishna said, so I don't want to take from you because you are envious of my devotees. So it's one can be that close, but then he has to take a step further. Yeah. So these are 4 people who approach, and they are great souls because they have come so close. But then they should take further step. They should take shelter of Krishna. That's called Sharanagati. Taking shelter of Krishna doesn't mean that you have to practice Atman Vedanta immediately, but at least take shelter, accepting, showing honest signs of somebody who is ready for a change, which means there should be some kind of change of heart. Otherwise, they'll just go back, as we said. People are in misery, then they pray to God, and after the war, and, or some dangerous situation, they just continue without after the funeral of their relatives, they are a little bit thoughtful, but then after a couple of days, they go back in their own. So it's called smashana by like means renunciation at the graveyard, or I believe it means how do you call this? Crematory.
Yeah. Shimshan River.
So this is yeah. So it's not honest. I would say classical examples are Dhritarashtra, because you mentioned some of the times. He would be advised by well wishers, even Bindu before when the whole intrigue was in its peaks and different wishes, they would advise you should get rid of your son because he's evil and he's very envious. He doesn't listen to anyone. He doesn't listen even to you. And Dhritarashtra knew it was the fact, but still, he had a big heart for his very powerful and evil son, so he couldn't say no to them. So, yeah. This makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Srimad Bhagavatam.
Is this when the